Hello and welcome to Cealea. Who are we and what do we do? Cealea is a private institute providing training, education and skill development in Pakistan. We specialize in providing in-person and online training in diverse selection of courses and training programs. Take advantage of in-person and on-campus learning as well as interactive online sessions with Cealea and learn from the best teachers in the industry who have excelled at what they teach. Cealea, Center for Advanced Learning. Welcome to our demo session. My name is Sana and I'm an IELTS instructor here at Cealea, and I've been teaching and in education from 18 years now. So what is IELTS? We keep getting a lot of queries that what is IELTS all about. So let me take you on a journey of IELTS. So there are two types of IELTS that we deal with, which is IELTS Academic and IELTS Journal. Who appears for what? So IELTS Journal is more applicable for people who are applying for work visa, for the PR in foreign countries. And IELTS Academic is for students, for PhDs and for undergrads and for master's students and for everyone who's applying for academics in foreign countries. So what's the difference between IELTS Journal and Academics? So IELTS Journal, again, both of them actually has 4 modules, which is reading, listening, writing and speaking. The only difference that comes in IELTS Journal and Academics is of the writing task, which I'll explain further. The first one, which is IELTS Reading. So what does IELTS Reading has? It has around 3 different texts, which 40 questions and 1 hour of practice that you get, and which has around 14 to 15 of different types of questions that we deal with in reading module. Coming to our next module, which is listening, again, is it of around 40 minutes of exam and practice that we do here. And it has again 40 questions to deal with 4 different conversations that you hear in both IELTS Academics and Journal. Coming again to our speaking part, which is the most interesting part because that's not taken on the same day. Either it's taken few hours before or a few days earlier, which is again of 11 to 14 minutes and has 3 parts. Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. The interesting part is the introduction. Is why? Because you're not marked on that, but again it's actually important. Why? Because you have to introduce yourself to the examiner. You can't escape that. Coming on to Part 1, attached with the introduction is all about you, explaining and telling about you, your life, your hobbies, basically, but it's a myself kind of a composition broken up into 4 different questions. Coming on to Part 2, which is again a description, something that you have experienced in your life. And coming to Part 3 is again an open-ended question that you have around 3 to 4 questions, which does not have a yes and no answer. Obviously, with the part that I said, it's more discursive and conversational sort of questions in the speaking part. Having said that, I will move to writing part. Now, writing part, why did I say it's different for IELTS Academic and why it's different for IELTS Journal? In IELTS Journal, writing task 1 consists of letter writing, which is formal, informal and semi-formal, and task 2 is an essay writing, which is same for both, but the slight difference is in IELTS Journal it is more direct. The essay types, there are 5 different types of essays, which is asked directly. For example, they just straight away ask, what is your opinion on this? Do you agree? If yes, give your queries or give your examples or give your evidences. But if we go on to the IELTS Academic writing part 2, the content might be the same, but the approach is a bit different. How? They might ask you, do you agree or you disagree? Give pros and cons for both. What are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? Give your opinion at the end. So you're dealing with both sides and not just with one side. For our speaking part 1, as I told you in the start of our video, I introduced myself to you. Let's see who remembers that. Now it's your turn. Introduce yourself to me in the comments or in the DM and subscribe our channel for more informational videos. Alright, welcome again to our IELTS class, which is our writing task 1 journal training as we discussed in our previous video. So let me just make you walk through and tell you about little nitty-gritties that how do you attempt a journal task, writing task 1, which is letter writing. So how many types of different essays do we have in writing task 1? I'm sure you are familiar with 2, and we have been learning this since our childhood, which is, if you look here, one is formal, another is informal,
Well, the third one is a mixture of formal and informal, and we call it semi-formal, letter writing. So let's just get on to these 3 tasks that I have sort of written in here, that how do you actually address it. So when you're writing a formal letter, obviously you don't know the names of the people. Why? Because who do we write the formal letter to? We write when we have to complain about people, when we have to request, or when we're applying for a job, or when we are requesting someone, a company or a person, to probably change a product, or requesting for leave, or requesting them for a community service. Alright, so obviously we don't know the names of the high management, so we address them as how? As dear sir and madam, as you can see here. And how do you end it? Well, people get confused. You're like, do we write yours faithfully? Do we write yours sincerely? So just to ease you out, this is what you do when you're addressing someone as dear sir and madam. You write yours faithfully. As you can see here, I've written in blue. It's yours faithfully. All right. But what goes in there in a formal letter? What is it that you write in when you're writing a formal letter? We all know if we start with greetings. All right. Which is, oops, what I've got here. Text. So what I've got here is, when you're writing a formal letter, you actually don't need greetings. No greetings. So what do you mean by no greetings? Greeting means like you don't need to ask them, hi, how are you, or how is it going, and how is your day coming along. We don't need to waste our time in that. We just need to get to the point and to our business. Mind you, let me tell you one thing. In our writing task 1, in journal paper, in letter writing, you're just required to spend 20 minutes, and that makes you write around 150 to 160 words in a letter. So you don't have a lot of time to think on really big ideas. Just follow those keywords and points and elaborate them. All right. It's a 4-paragraph letter that you write. So you straight away start with dear sir, madam, and you come to the basic content, the intro as we call it. The intro goes in with no greetings, as in you're not asking them about their health or about their day. You straight away get to the point. And what's that to the point? It's like, I would like to complain, or I would like to ask, or I would like to request, or I'm writing here on behalf of so and so. So these are journal formal phrases line that you start your intro with and get to the point. Because again, keeping in mind, we don't have a lot of time and we don't have a lot of words. So no greetings. And then coming on to the next part, what is it you use? You use formal phrases. As I've just told you, you're not supposed to use colloquial language. Alright, colloquial means slang language. Formal phrases, just like you would talk to a person in your admin or management, right? No greetings are necessary, formal phrases, and the last thing is you don't use contractions. Now, what type of contractions am I talking about? For example, if you have to write I am not, don't say I'm not. Alright, so you write proper sentences in full to make the other person understand. Alright, so that's about a formal letter. Okay, now coming on to our second part here, which I just told you, which is informal. Alright, another type of essay that we deal with in our journal task 1 in writing. Informal. Well, informal is really easy and you all know what it is all about. So in informal, who do you write informal letter to? Comment or DM me after this video. I'll just tell you the answer, but certainly if you have some other answers, so let's just hear that. Okay, so who do you write informal letter to? You write informal letter to people you know, which are your friends, your cousins, your pen pals, your peers, or maybe your people you're a bit frank to. All right. But at times people say we can include parents or we can include grandparents. Well, you can, but then again, it becomes a little what you call uncomfortable if you use slangs with them, all right? Like gotcha, how are you, how's it going? So obviously you don't use that with your elders, all right? So coming on to informal letters, you can see here it says here, dear Michael. So yes, obviously if you're writing informal letter, you know the names of your friends, you know the name of your neighbors, you know the names of your pen pals, you know the name of your peers, your class fellows, whoever. All right, so we address them with their name, which is dear Michael. And how do you end with? You end with best wishes, best regards, love, truly yours, wish you best, your best friend, friends forever, and certain things. All these things can be catered and ended. I mean, in informal letter, you can end your letter with such with such sort of wishes and endings. All right, so what comes in the content? Again, you have an intro. Yes, it is again a 4 paragraph, so your intro can be a little bit informal. Yes, you have greetings. Okay, now again, what do I mean by greetings? Greeting means the same. Hi, how are you, how's it going, what's up? All right, that's the most common thing which the teens and everyone use, and we use. Hi, got here this week, would you? So it's just like a little informal language that you can use. So again, my second point is you can use informal language, or we call it colloquial language. All right, I'm sure you all know about it, what I'm talking about. What's a colloquial language? Colloquial language means you can use certain slangs, you can use slang phrases, you can use certain slang idioms which are like sort of cliched, but okay, you can just use it between friends, because we assume that you're writing it to your friends and your peers and people you're really frank with, right? So, and then comes at the end that yes, you can use contractions, right? You can use contractions. All right, so what does that mean when you can use contractions? Means that yes, when I was talking about using, not using I'm not, and using I am not, so yes, you can use can't, don't, what's up, what's wrong. You can use such contractions in an informal essay. Coming to our third type and the last, which is a mixture of, I would say, an informal and formal, it's semi-formal. And who do you write to? You write to people, yes, you know their names, but you address them with their surnames. For example, I've written here like, dear Mr. Hopkins, dear Mr. Gerald, or dear Mr. Woodland, or dear Mr. or Mrs. Will Smith. All right, so you can address them with their surnames. So who do you write semi-formal letters to? Obviously, they can be your teachers, they can be people in your school. Obviously, there's there's an attachment to your people. Where you have learned from people in your university, your professors, people in the admin, or maybe someone elderly in your family. It can be your parents. It can be people in your neighborhood who are elderly. You know their names, but you address them with their surname, as a sign of respect. And how do you end it? You end it with yours sincerely at the end. Not yours faithfully, not best wishes, not truly yours, but yours sincerely. All right, so what to include when you're writing a semi-formal language? So let's get on to here. It's a bit like in formal. There are no exclamation marks. Well, I forgot to tell you, you can use exclamation marks in an informal language, but not in formal and not in semi-formal. It's like, whoa, you can't use that. Oh, I forgot. You cannot use exclamation mark or those phrases which are, used in informal. You avoid direct questions. What is it? It's like you don't say, okay, so what you're doing at the moment, or I just wrote to tell you that I'm not coming today. No, you don't do that. You write it, I would like to bring into your notice, or I would like to request, I would like to remind you about an event. So this is how you go about it. You don't directly come on to the questions, you don't ask them directly. It's just a way of structuring your sentence in a formal way by using formal language and formal vocabulary and formal content. Use linking verbs. What are linking verbs? that will definitely tell you in our next video. But let me just brief you. Linking verbs are those are sort of transitive verbs which we use to sort of bring a fluency in your writing structure, like however, furthermore, in addition, in conclusion, moreover, thus, as soon as far as possible as. All right. So you use such linking verbs in your letter writing. Well, you can use it in your essay too, to bring a fluency in your sentence structure. At the end is that you, again, all these I would like to say, because I did not include it here. For all these formal letter, informal or semi-formal letter, what you do is you add a tagline. So why did I write it in the middle? Let me just make it a little bigger. Okay, tagline. So what's a tagline? Tagline is just one liner that you add at the end. It's like, I await your prompt response. For example, this is for formal and can be used for semi-formal. And for informal, write ASAP. I'm waiting for your letter. Or give my regards, or pay my regards to your family. All right. So this can be used in informal. So this is a tagline that you use in conclusion, before yours sincerely, before yours faithfully, before best wishes. Whenever you're ending your essay, there is a tagline attached to your last paragraph. That's all about it. Hope to see you in the next video with some more information and some more tips and techniques.